morning I want to take some time to show you my new Vibe Seaghost 130. I've made some modifications on it in the last few weeks, and I want to give you a rundown of the Kayak as well as show you those modifications. Well, this is it, my new Vibe Seaghost 130. I sold my Pompano 120 and started looking at kayaks, and part of my decision making was a couple of things. First off, the seat on the Pompano 120 was very uncomfortable. As you can see, I'm an older gentleman, and at the end of a fishing trip my back was killing me. It was just not enjoyable to a degree. When I started looking at kayaks, I had some considerations to begin with. The first of which was weight. I wanted to stay below 75 to 80 pounds. That's about all I can handle getting in and getting it out of my truck. The other primary consideration was a good seat. And I also wanted more storage space. In the other kayak, I stored most of my items in the back crate, and it was a little difficult for me to turn around and get things out. When I first started looking, I was leaning toward getting a Jackson Cuda 12 because I have owned a big tuna in the past and I love the seat. But when I started comparing all the features of this kayak versus that kayak, plus the overall price, there was a big difference. This kayak met my weight requirements by coming in about 75 pounds. It also has a great seat, and it also has a lot of storage. So let's get started, and I'll show you the kayak from front to back and with some of the modifications that I've done. A very good feature on this kayak is the front storage area. Inside it has this real nice nylon bag, I guess you would call it, where you can keep your articles off the bottom of the kayak in case there is any water in it. Of course, I store my life preserver in there between trips. Inside that box contains the battery for my fish finder. Got it held in with a bungee cord. It's kind of difficult to do things with one hand. As you can see, I've got it wedged into place, and that hole there at the back, I will eventually seal that with silicone. While I've got this out, I wanted to show you something. When I was installing my fish finder, you always have lots of extra transducer cable left over to do something with, so I pulled it all inside here through a hole, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Up front, I mounted a 1-inch rim ball to hold my front camera. When I sold my Pompano 120, I let the fish finder and transducer go with that unit. The gentleman wanted it. And I bought me a Garmin Striker 4. This is a very inexpensive fish finder, about 119 bucks. It does have GPS, which is not something I will probably use, but if you wanted to mark a waypoint, if you're fishing a new area and find a spot and you want to mark it, you can do that so that you can come back to it later. The transducer install was not that easy because I had to make a modification, and I'll show you that a little later when I flip the kayak over. I mentioned good storage area. This compartment here really is nice. It comes with the straps to raise it up. I took the front strap off though and replaced it with a bungee, and my reason being is that it makes it easy to lift. You can see all the storage area that you have underneath, and then you can replace it very easily. Also, these straps up front, when they were unbuckled, rubbed against my leg on the first fishing trip, so I decided they had to go. On the opposite side over there, I mounted a Scotty's a rod holder in one of the Scotty mounts. I put another Scotty mount on this side so that I could move it to either side. The compartment top comes with a hole pattern that made it very easy to install my fish finder. The first trip I kept my rod holder in one of these, and it didn't work out. I didn't like it at all. If anything, there's probably too many of these, because when you wash down your kayak at the end, they fill up with water, and so you've got to take everything off to get that water out. The kayak did come with a paddle. However, it's aluminum, and I thought it was a little heavy. I already had a fiberglass paddle that was a little longer than the paddle provided. This is a 240 centimeter paddle. As you can see, I spray painted it and camouflaged it to match my camo orange of the kayak. The seat. I really do like the seat after taking the kayak out twice. I probably will leave it in the high position. I didn't have any problem with stability in the high position. And I don't really fish in rough water, so that will work out best for me, I think. Under the seat, I store a couple of bags, plastic bags for plastic lures. One bag is scented lures, and one bag is just plain lures, all shapes, all sizes and colors. They make a space available for 2 tackle trays. The website and the literature tells you that a Plano 3600 will fit in those spaces. However, when I bought a Plano 3600 and came home, it was a little too thick to fit, so I had to return them. And I found out that they make different Plano 3600s, and some are just a little bit less thick. However, I had some generic trays, and when I tried them, they fit perfectly. Going toward the back, I made my own rod insert, flared the tip of it, and painted it to match my kayak. I initially had these Scotty rocket launchers in the track, but it put them up so high that I had difficulty turning around and getting my rods and net out of the holder. So I ordered these flush mount holders, and they lowered it probably 5 to 6 inches. At the back here, I've got the standard Targus monopod modification that everybody does for my rear camera. With all the storage up front, that freed up the back well of my kayak. So I decided to modify an ice chest, lowering the profile so that wind would not affect it that much. If you've ever put a cooler in the back of your kayak, like me, I found that they sit up too high and lets the wind push you around quite a bit. So there is a video of my build on this, and it's on my YouTube channel. I took about 6 inches off of it, and it left me with 6 inches of storage space inside. I haven't completed the inside yet. I'm waiting to see if this is something that is going to work for me. I installed my anchor trolley on this side of the kayak because I thought that the rudder mechanism on the other side might interfere. I use a mushroom anchor. I've tried the stakeout poles and I've tried the folding anchors, and I just don't like them. I like this the best. This is a 4-pound mushroom anchor. They're kind of hard to find, but I found this one online at academy.com. Most of the mushroom anchors you see in the stores are 8 pounds, and that's just too much. It's too much weight for even this big kayak. One of my YouTube friends wanted me to show my cart, so this is a good time to maybe do that. It's nothing but a PVC cart that you can find many videos online on how to build it. The only difference I made was putting this long handle on the front. When launching, it allows me to pull the cart out from underneath the kayak, and also when I'm retrieving the kayak, I back the kayak into the shore, lift the back end, and just push this underneath it. It works very well. It's very sturdy. I originally built it for the big tuna, so this other little thing that I built to help me move my kayak around the garage and also to pull it out to my truck is nothing more than a furniture dolly that I purchased from Harbor Freight. I added two 2x4s here so that I could put plywood, 3/4 inch plywood on each side, and then I braced it with 2 other 2x4s. I designed it so that these fit the channels on the bottom of the kayak, so that when you get it in those channels, it makes it pretty sturdy. The kayak comes with a place where you can install your transducer, and it's in this enclosed space here. They also provide you threaded inserts in the space to allow different possibilities for mounting a transducer. The original transducer, it was way too high, and my bottom of the transducer protruded above the bottom of the kayak. After sawing off my transducer mount, I also drilled holes, as you can see there, and what that allowed me to do was use the existing threaded inserts to secure this to the bottom of the space. While I've got this thing turned over, I wanted to point out the sharp bow that it has for cutting through the water. The deep channels are just going to help with stability. And on the back it has a very pronounced keel, which is going to make this kayak track very well. After getting it off the sawhorses, I remembered something that I really didn't touch base with, and that was the rudder system. I used it on both my first 2 trips. I've never had a kayak with a rudder before, so it was a little bit of a learning curve for me. Plus I was wearing large waterproof boots, and that didn't make it any easier. So the jury's still out on if it's something I will use routinely or not. Maybe when I get into some deeper water and I have longer distance to paddle, it may be something I'll use, but right now I just don't know. That concludes my review of the Vibe Seaghost 130. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll get back with you as soon as possible. Thank you very much.